Hi everyone, this is Leela Fortunato here. I'm a history teacher from East London. I've been teaching in secondary schools for 12 years and I've put together this course called Medieval African Empires to European 19th Century Conquest. This course is for 11 to 16-year-olds and it aims to fill in the gap of knowledge that at the moment currently exists in the English curriculum. Having taught for over 12 years in secondary schools, I can tell you that this is something that is sadly lacking and children really want to know about it. And I think that it's so important that not just in Black History Month, as it is now, but all throughout the year that this is something that should be embedded into the curriculum. So this course aims to do that along with the other courses that will run concurrently with across the school year and that complement the school curriculum. So it's an opportunity for young people to learn online. Classes are live, all right, with myself, and you'll be learning key historical skills that you would normally learn in a classroom, and students will get a chance to gain new knowledge but also to catch up on skills that they would have missed out on because of COVID-19. So what kind of course topics are there? Okay, so students will learn, of course, about medieval African kingdoms. It's really important that students get a chance to learn about pre-colonial history. Again, this is an area that is significantly lacking, and it is an opportunity to counteract that narrative, that negative narrative about Africa being uncivilized and Europeans coming to civilize them. So they will learn a lot about different kinds of culture, government structures, medicine, technology, etc., that existed in medieval African kingdoms, pre-colonial times or pre-Europeans. They're also going to learn about different types of exploration that happened by Europeans to the African continent and what did they find when they got there. They'll learn about European conquest, in particular the British Empire, genocide and the creation of the other. So the other is this kind of creation of another type of human being, the concept of somebody who's not civilized, who can be ruled, who can be treated like an animal. So where did this concept come from? How was it created? That's the sort of thing that we're going to examine on this course. And of course, building an economic empire. How did Britain build that empire? How did they benefit? The kind of historical skills that young people will be learning on my course will be what they would learn had I been teaching them in a classroom, and is also what is expected under the English curriculum. So things like, for example, analysis and interpretation of sources, being able to weigh up, being able to evaluate arguments, historical inquiry, so being able to investigate, being able to put everything into the correct time order, which is chronology. And of course, underpinning everything is literacy. Okay, and all of these skills are transferable skills which they can use in history or in other areas. Right, what kind of concepts will we be examining? So we've got, for example, cause and consequence. Okay, these are all history concepts that you would normally learn in a classroom at Key Stage 3 and 4. So cause and consequence, what happened, how did it happen, what were the effects of those key events? Okay, how significant was that key event? Why is that event so significant? What kinds of things changed and how did things stay the same or continue? And also what kinds of things were similar, what kinds of things are different, so we can compare to other periods in history, different cultures, and we can even compare to now, for example. And of course, underpinning everything is looking at sources of evidence. So what is a good piece of evidence? What is evidence from the time? How can we interpret that piece of evidence? Is it a reliable piece of evidence? Okay, why was it created, for example? So these are the kinds of things that we will be looking at. So themes. Okay, so these are a list of all the different themes that we will be looking at. So for example, we already talked a little bit about the concept of the other. So identity. How has the identity of Black people been shaped? How has the identity of white people been shaped? We're looking at things like false science, that was brought about during Darwin's time to justify things like slavery and colonialism. What's the difference between chattel slavery, which was practiced under the transatlantic slave trade, and African slavery, which has similarities to feudal peasantry in Europe? What kind of ways did people use to fight back, for example? What kind of economies existed in African societies before Europeans? How did those economies transform themselves? And we're also going to be looking at, of course, the transatlantic slavery, the impact of that on European, African societies, the Americas, for example. We're looking at colonialism. So what kind of colonies were created? How was land taken over? And also looking at how those pieces of land then became parts of a much bigger empire. Why was empire built? What were the ideologies that were behind the building of those empires? Who received compensation, for example, when Britain lost some of those colonies and when slavery was abolished? Because actually the countries themselves who were conquered and the people who were enslaved didn't receive compensation. We also want to go into more detail about African societies, as said on the previous slide. For example, things like their government, kind of religion, science, medicine, and social structures existed at the time. Okay, so if you are interested in signing up your child, okay, you can reach me at gleconsultants@outlook.com. I look forward to hearing from you. As I said before, the course starts on Wednesday, so please get in touch as soon as you possibly can, because this is important for our young people. Doesn't matter what background those young people come from, black, white, whatever, Asian, whatever culture, this course is for you or for your child. Okay, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.